KOMU 8 crews found wind damage in Callaway County, both north and south of the interstate. A farm shed was torn apart, missing two sides and a roof. A nearby silo was dented. Also, Governor Parson declared a state of emergency in response to the severe weather and flooding. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Reed.
And I'm Emily Spain. Thanks for joining us. The damage wasn't limited to just north of I-70. We also found dozens of trees torn down on the ground in eastern Callaway County, south of the interstate. About 3 miles down County Road 177, several large trees came down, blocking a gravel road. We cannot confirm this was tornado damage. That's up to the National Weather Service, but many of the trees had twisted trunks, which would suggest tornadic activity. Here's the MoDOT traveler map. All those half red and white circles are roads closed due to flooding. You can see the majority of them are in southwestern Missouri.
Taking another look at live Dr. Raid First Alert radar. This shower and thunderstorm activity is out of mid-Missouri right now. It's even out of Gascoigne and Montgomery County right now. Just this hour, you can see there is still some morning, too, and we're talking about a slight chance for severe storms with some of that as well. I'm tracking all of that hour by hour coming up. At first, we also have flood risks as well. Matt Beckwith has the latest on that.
Yeah, Kenton, many of the areas across mid-Missouri have seen quite a bit of rain. This is rainfall totals over the last 48 hours. Radar estimated. Kenton will track those rain chances hour by hour coming up in just a little bit.
Matt, thank you very much. Flooding concerns are already causing havoc with Memorial Day activities. The Salute to Veterans Air Show this weekend is canceled. KOMU8's Jordan Alejandre is here in the studio with more.
Organizers canceled the 31st annual Salute to Veterans Air Show. That's because organizers are worried about rain they expect to leave the Jefferson City Airport flooded by this weekend. The airport was busy today as pilots and workers moved planes. Reporting live in the studio, Jordan Alejandre, KOMU 8 News.
And the weather news just keeps coming. A tornado touched down near I-44 just north of Springfield today. The video shows big debris swirling and power flashes. About 15 miles away in Stratford, a strong storm damaged buildings and homes. The National Weather Service issued a tornado warning at about the same time. A semi also rolled over on I-44. Take a look at this damage at the Lucas Oil Speedway. That's in Hickory County, just days before a big race. There's damage to several buildings, the grandstands at the off-road track and the grandstands at the dirt track. This weekend's Show Me 100 is postponed.
There are also reports of injuries and damage at an RV park near that speedway. One emergency worker says around 11 last night, several people were trapped inside an RV after it was blown on its side. Several people were taken to a nearby hospital. Officials with the speedway say they were planning on hosting up to 10,000 people for the event. Missouri State Highway Patrol Troop G tweeted photos of the storm's aftermath, damage from a suspected tornado in Wright County. You can see the pickup truck smashed by cinder blocks here. This is the Town and Country Supermarket in Hartville. MSHP says no one reported any injuries. Amtrak suspended service between St. Louis and Kansas City until Friday. That's because of flooding across the state. Passengers who use the Missouri River Runner will be moved to buses. Again, train service is scheduled to return on Friday.
Here's what's happening right now. The St. Louis Blues fans are piling into their favorite sports bars to enjoy Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals. The Blues have a chance to win the series with a victory tonight, and they lead it 3-1 going into the third period. There is plenty of excitement in the air.
They've had a couple really good teams that just couldn't get it done in the playoffs, but this team seems to be able to do that. If we make it tonight, I think we'll do good against the Bruins. We match up well.
If the Blues win, they will take on the Boston Bruins for the Stanley Cup. The Blues are the oldest franchise in the NHL without winning a Stanley Cup.
Coming up, protesters have a message for Missouri lawmakers about the newly passed abortion bill.
Plus, what priorities Roy Blunt once changed in Missouri.
And we've already seen 1 to 3 inches of rainfall over the past 48 hours, as Matt was telling you earlier, but we have even more chances for rain over the next 8 days, the majority of those days, actually. We're tracking it all hour by hour for the next week coming up.
A former Columbia teacher pleaded guilty to sexual contact with a student. Sean Diestel will be sentenced in August. He was arrested in May of last year. The victim, who was 17 at the time, told police she and Diestel had a relationship for several months. He admitted to the relationship. He could face up to 4 years in prison and a possible fine.
Today, abortion rights activists gathered outside the Capitol. They were protesting the state's newly passed anti-abortion bill that's awaiting the governor's signature. But state lawmakers weren't there to hear the activists' chants because the session is over. The group Narrow Pro-Choice Missouri organized demonstrations in Columbia, Jefferson City, and St. Louis today. The bill they are protesting would make abortion a crime after 8 weeks of pregnancy, except when the mother's life is at risk. Protesters in Jefferson City say if the governor signs the bill, he would be putting women's lives in danger.
My message is that this will not stop abortions. This will stop access to safe abortions, and that he is only putting other lives in jeopardy by not allowing women safe access to safe abortions.
Supporters of the bill, including its sponsor, have insisted it would not endanger women but save the lives of the unborn. Governor Parson has already pledged to sign the bill, but his office has not yet announced when that will happen.
Here are your Casey Dermatology SunSense numbers for the next 3 days on a scale from 1 to 11. We're at a 9 on Wednesday and Friday, but a little cloud cover Thursday keeps us down to a 6. Full forecast after the break.
Plus, 2 MU students took advantage of the severe weather today, how they used the strong winds and rain for research.
Welcome back. MU students are using weather balloon technology and their atmospheric knowledge to help local meteorologists forecast the weather. KOMU 8's Bailey Yang tells us how it all works.
2 MU students majoring in atmospheric science are taking Tuesday's stormy weather as an opportunity for research. John Bongard and Christopher Stewart are launching weather balloons at the South Farm Resource Center. Bongard and Stewart are going to launch balloons every 2 hours, and they have 4 balloons to launch through the day. Stewart says each balloon carries a sensor that measures temperature, dew point, humidity, and wind speed.
3, 2, 1, go!
As soon as the balloon provides the data to their lab, he and Bongard are able to see what happened in the upper atmosphere.
So we're basically getting the idea of how much energy is in the atmosphere, how healthy is the atmosphere for convection or whatever we might be interested in looking at.
Bongard says balloon launches like this are rare.
We're not being paid by the government to do this. This is strictly for research. It just so happens we can also give them the data. It's expensive to fly these balloons, and even though there's like 120 some odd different weather stations around the country, I think there's only like 27 that actually do balloon flights, and they only do them twice a day.
Bongard says once they have the data, they will give it to the university, TV station including KOMU, and National Weather Service. Bailey Yang, KOMU News, Columbia.
Stewart and Bongard also used the weather balloons to study the snowstorm back in January. They said that they will keep doing it to help local meteorologists provide accurate weather information.
Columbia dealerships worked ahead of the storm to avoid damage to cars. The Honda dealership parked dozens of cars inside the Hitt Street garage on the MU campus. The dealership's GM says he was able to do so because most students are away for summer. He would not say whether the dealership paid the university.
All right, let's head into weather here, and this is a time lapse today over Jefferson City. You can see we had a little bit of rainfall out there this morning, but we were waiting for the afternoon rain to roll through, and here it is rolling into Jefferson City, and it's moved through pretty quickly, actually, of course, and then we had a beautiful sunset, some rainbows spotted across mid-Missouri as well. So again, looking at our rainfall, our radar estimated rainfall totals, all of us getting 1 to 3 inches across mid-Missouri, with the most here getting especially over into western Missouri and southwestern Missouri and over into Kansas. They've just seen a lot of rain the past month, you could say, one of the wettest they've seen. And you can see we also have a lot of aerial flood warnings in effect for just a very wide portion. You could say the entire southwestern portion of Missouri, the entire state, even a lot of the south central parts of the state under an aerial flood warning, which means roads are covered with water. Just not a great situation. We also have, of course, river and stream warnings, and one of those is, of course, the Missouri River. Off and on through much of this 8-day forecast as well. Actually, all of it, except for tomorrow afternoon. We're looking at chances for showers and thunderstorms each day, so stay tuned with us. And, of course, throughout the weekend as well, be sure to download the KOMU Weather and Traffic app, and we will keep you updated through Memorial Day weekend, so no matter where you are, you know what's coming and you're not caught off guard.
Kenton, thank you very much. And the last thing we need right now is more rain. And speaking of the weather, Senator Roy Blunt co-sponsored a bill that would prioritize flood control. He criticized how the Missouri River system is managed. He says there's too much focus on fish and wildlife instead of flood prevention and management. Blunt says the river system has completely failed farmers, families, and communities that have faced catastrophic flooding.
Rain is causing flooding in central Kansas. Right now, parts of the Little Arkansas River are flooding. The floodwater is threatening homes. The river is expected to reach major flood stages. Those who live nearby are preparing their homes just in case that river makes its way into their yards.
Just one game stands between the Blues and franchise history.
Exciting stuff. St. Louis looking for its first finals appearance in nearly 50 years. Chris Trevino's here with an update.
Hi, everyone. With a win over the Sharks tonight, the Blues would head to their first Stanley Cup final in almost 50 years. They have not played for the Stanley Cup since 1970 when they were swept in 4 games by the Boston Bruins. The Pokes at home. Lee's Summit West has beaten Jefferson City, ending the Lady J season 6-0. Also tonight, Hickman's season ended as the Cupies lose at Francis Howell. That's sports.
Coming up on KOMU 8 News at 10, the Missouri River is expected to crest well above flood stage in Jefferson City.
Residents are being urged to take precautions. We'll have more on that story tonight at 10. Kenton.
All right, remember for tomorrow evening, in 24 hours, we're already in a storm mode 2 on a 0 to 5 scale because we have more storms popping up and some of them could have strong winds and large hail once again, and can't completely rule out the tornado threat for tomorrow night. Otherwise, for your day tomorrow, high temperatures are going to be in the 80s and unlike what those icons are saying, we're going to have a lot of sunshine tomorrow until the evening.
And Jim, back on the desk, you were out there chasing storms today.
With Tim Schmidt?
Well, we started down in, Miller County, and then we moved to Camden County, and then we moved back to Cole County, and then we ended up in Callaway County for a long time.
Yes.
And, yeah, we saw quite a bit of damage. So
it was good. It was great, great coverage.
Thank you.